Hey guys, today we show another restoration project I've been working on, and this video is for Steve, who owns this really cool Memorymoog Plus that I've heavily modified. It's got some really cool modifications in it. But went through it, did the restoration like typical. Went through all the circuit boards, replaced all common failure components. Anything that needed to be repaired, I repaired it. Did a full calibration on it, not just the voice boards, but everything. It's probably had 30 or probably close to 40 hours of burn-in now, because I've had it for a couple of months while I do the modifications. And that kind of stuff takes a long time, especially when you're building the modifications and having to test and retest and leaving it on, make sure all the modifications are going to hold up and that kind of stuff. So a lot going on in this one. But what we have is, the first thing we did was I went through it after I restored it, and we bought he bought a keyboard. Steve did. He bought a keyboard from Synth, which is a Fatar Keyboard upgrade for these units. Feels really nice. And shout out to Martin for all the support with this keyboard and some other things that's coming up, which I'll be making here very soon, associated with Memorymoog's. But he had the keyboard, but the Aftertouch circuitry is not ready yet, so I actually found a way to make Aftertouch work with this thing. Also using a part from Michigan Synth Works, so shout out to Michigan Synth Works for a board I bought from them. And I made the Aftertouch circuit work. And so I just kind of walk you down, let you see the modifications I've done. I also added a Kenton MIDI kit to this one, but not in the typical way. This is a lot different because the keyboard's different and the Kenton kit won't mount there. So I had to mount the Kenton kit up in the top. And then I didn't want to drill holes for the extra MIDI jacks because it's a plus. I don't really want this thing to look all goofy with extra jacks. So I actually took the expansion board apart, and I've used the jacks and everything. The board's still in there, the expansion board's still active, but I've tied into the MIDI jacks with the Kenton kit, so it looks really clean. You'll see these two switches down here, and I'm sure you've already like, man, he drilled holes in a Memorymoog. Believe me, that is a nerve-wracking thing to do, especially when it's not your unit. So drilling holes is never fun. But what we have is we have these two toggles, and what I did, I've actually built the Aftertouch circuit to tie into the foot pedal controls up here. So you got the foot pedal control mounts for FP1, FP2. You'll hear me refer to that a lot. But what these do is, actually the Aftertouch circuitry has a plus and negative polarity. So I've actually built independent circuitry for foot pedal 1 polarity and foot pedal 2 polarity. So you can actually switch the polarity between the two and get two different inverted controls or non-inverted controls at the foot pedal controls. For the foot pedal 1, foot pedal 2, they're actually independent from each other. So that's really cool. I'll walk around back, show you the more modifications I've done to this one. Like I said, I've done a lot of stuff to this one. So what we have here, we actually have two jacks here, and that's actually the Aftertouch outputs. So you have a plus Aftertouch and negative Aftertouch output, so you can actually plug this thing into external synthesizers, use the Memorymoog as a controller, and actually use the Aftertouch in other analog synthesizers. Really nice feature there. We're going down here. You can see where I had to drill the holes and mount the Kenton board. I had to make some bracketry and got everything mounted in the top here. So that's the Kenton board location here now. We go over here and you'll see that there is no Kenton jacks for MIDI. Actually, like I said, I used the original MIDI jacks. We got the Kenton jack or the Kenton kit program change button. And then you see these jacks right here, which are actually my individual voice outputs. So this actually allows you to plug into a mixer with all 6 voices and pan them and all kind of fun stuff there. So that's been done. And also just cleaned it up really good. Went through it and cleaned it. And you can see it's early. It's actually an early serial number. It's the 244th Memorymoog build. So it was already updated to a plus at some point in its life. And that's got all these extra stuff going on. But anyways, I will show you just a few little damages here, Steve. I know I showed you these things when they first came in here, but just going to bring it back up. But you got one little spot right there in the wood. I did clean the wood and condition it, but you can see those little spots. That's caused by the ATA case this thing was in. There's no foam in it, and there's a big old rivet that sticks out, and that's where this thing just got whipped by that rivet on that end. And this end also has a little bit of it. Not as bad on this end, but you can see like one little spot right there. So it's not quite as as bad as down there. But you can just look across it, and the wood's all nice and conditioned, just the same. But let me put the camera on the tripod here, and I'll walk you guys through some sounds and kind of show you these features it's got now here. Whoops, getting tangled up my cord here. Let me plug my camera in real quick here. Alright, so anyways, we'll start just with preset 1. So we'll go preset 1. We have everything just like factory. Here we can hit the foot pedal control will make it control pitch on the positive polarity. So we'll actually set this, you can hear. So you can control the mount by the actual foot pedal control. So as the positive, I can flip this toggle switch down here to negative. Get a negative response. So you've got a plus and negative response. We can also control volume. That's all Aftertouch. We can control filter. As you can hear, so really cool there. And then we've also got foot pedal 2, which is either modulation or oscillator 2. So I'll show you this right quick. We'll do modulation first. So that's really cool. We can also control oscillator 2. So this is just oscillator 2 frequency. And same thing, we can go negative polarity with the toggle switch down here. At the same time, we can keep the other pedal in a positive polarity and control the filter. Or have them both negative. Go back, pause on both, and control modulation again here. So you get stuff like that. So really cool stuff with this Aftertouch control. And once again, you can route it externally as well. I put outputs on it, so you can have a lot of fun with the Aftertouch circuitry. But there's that. Something I do want to do right quick. I forgot to do this. I just want to show you that Autotune works, and then go through the voice count and show you that all the voices are working, or all the oscillators work on the voice. So let me do this right quick. It's been a little while since I've made a Memorymoog video, so I'm going to try to remember my approach here. So anyway, we'll start by hitting Autotune to show you that all 6 voices will actually calibrate. Takes it just a few seconds. Six tuned. And then if we actually go here, I'll show you the voice count here. We'll stay on preset 1. We'll cut all this off. And then let me go here and go into voice count. So you can see the voice count there, just going through the count of the voices. Open this filter up, turn on the mixes of the oscillators. We'll go sawtooth only first, and we'll set them all at 8. And so here's oscillator 1 of all voices. Turn on the envelope here as well. So there's oscillator 1 of all voices. Here's oscillator 2. As you can hear. And then here's oscillator 3 of all voices. Oh, that's low mode. That's when you're not hearing anything. So let me set this up right quick. I'll hit C5 enter, and that centers these two pots through the computer. We'll go back to C4. Now we should have something. There we go. So once again, the mixers are down for 1 and 2. Here's 3. As you can hear. So there's all 3 oscillators of all 6 voices. And now we'll actually just go through and I'll show you that the waveforms work for all voices. So we'll start with the square here. There's oscillator 1, oscillator 2, and then here's oscillator 3 square wave. And the same thing for the sine wave. We'll start with oscillator, the triangular wave. We'll start with oscillator 3 first this time. There's oscillator 3, oscillator 2, and then oscillator 1. As you can hear. So there's all the oscillator section working. I just always like to show that the Autotune works and that all oscillators are working. And also the filters all work as well. We're going to close this filter up a little bit. And they don't hold perfect tuning. They always drift just a little bit, which is what you're hearing there. But they all track the keyboard, as you can hear. So now let me put the camera back on the tripod here, and we'll go through just some more of the sounds here. So I've actually got a video on the individual outs. I'll share that. It's the same thing that you'd hear on the other video. I don't have my setup here at the shop. But anyways, let's go back to, we'll go to preset 2 now. Go up an octave. Here your octave shift works. Modulation works from your wheel, as well as the pitch. And what I'll do, I'll center the frequency of these two. We'll go to mono mode. How great it sounds in mono mode. All those voices are really nice and uniform. Glide works. So that's the mono glide. We'll go off, and you've actually got a mono glide circuit as well as polyphonic glide circuits. So we'll glides work there. We'll go to keyboard mode, and I'm going to go to reset, and this actually is really cool. It allows me to play it monophonically, so I can play chords still as if it's polyphonic. Aftertouch that, we'll put the modulation on Aftertouch. So you can hear just how great this thing sounds. It's a fantastic playing Memorymoog, and I love this keyboard. It's got a good feel to it. The original keyboards are just Matsushita brand keyboards that you find in like the Korg Poly 6. Pretty much all the Korgs used the similar stuff, and most of the Moog synths during this era did. So the Liberation, the Prodigy, all those used a Matsushita keyboard. The difference being is this one had a membrane panel, like I explained it to people, it's like a calculator button. It's a little rubber pad with a little graphite, basically like a carbon pad in it, and it makes contact. Where the Prodigy, Source, Liberation, all those used modular contacts. So there's actually like, I think, 8 contacts to a module, and they were actually just little ribbons. Not really ribbons, they were more like J-wire style. And they were just modular form. So if you broke one, well, you had to replace the whole module. So kind of a nuisance there. But they were, you know, affordable, outsourced, and they weren't as heavy as a Pratt Reed. And you could actually fit circuitry under them, and that was a big part of the Memorymoog and the Source especially, those two in particular. So this Fatar keyboard just has a great feel to it. Really can't get over how nice it feels. So anyways, that's preset 2. I'm going to show you also that I built a custom patch in this particular one, and it's actually inspired by Prophet 5. This is a Prophet 5 patch, and it's just a really cool patch. So you can hear I have basically a pulse width control on the voice modulation, and it actually zeroes out the pulse width of oscillator 2, and then oscillator 1 stays, and then when I left the key it follows the envelope and brings in the pulse width with some modulation oscillator 2. And one good example of this patch is actually George Clinton's Mighty Dog. It goes, so if I remember how it goes, so how does it go? Something like that. But that's it. Play a little weird, but that's it's an extended version of that song. But that's kind of where I got the idea for this patch. It's a really cool patch. But I'll take you through some of my favorite presets. We'll go to 21 here. This is the lovely pads. Really great sound. We'll go to 2 again, and I'm going to show you that the sequencer still works as well. So if we hit CC enter, that brings you into the sequencer, and we'll so as you can hear, the sequencer still works. I've loaded the sequence data, so that still functions just as it did originally. And just a really great instrument here. But I'll take you through a few more presets here. So it was on 21. Weird one. That's a fun one. contour even while off the keys. Really nice feature. Using this preset here too, I'll show you something that's really nice about this Aftertouch as well. So we'll go to Oscillator 2, we're going to turn Oscillator Sync's already on. We can actually turn the frequency control off of voice modulation. This is Oscillator 2 turned up right now. So anyways, you can hear how great that is too, just having that oscillator sync with the Aftertouch. It's an organ preset. Another weird one. That's a cool one. That's using Oscillator 3 as an LFO source, and it's tracking the keyboard. So it's controlling the filter. Here's a mono. Using the Aftertouch again. There's another unconditional contour there. That's kind of a vocal piece. That's kind of like what I do on a Minimoog. If you've watched any of my later videos where I show some film synthesis stuff with a Minimoog. Patch there. So here's our arpeggiator. Of course, we can edit that. I'm going to turn it on here, and we're actually going to make it a latch. We got a hold. played around with some L-film synthesis there with the filter and engaging oscillator 3 into the filter. All these really rich, warm sounds you can get. There it is without the oscillator modulation. Aftertouch to that. Let me make the release time a little shorter. Now you can use Aftertouch to get those harmonics. You can hear how great this thing sounds, Steve. It's just a fantastic Memorymoog. Of course, I love all Memorymoogs I restore, but this keyboard, I'm telling you, it makes a... Sorry, my camera timed out there. But what I was saying is this keyboard makes it a lot more enjoyable just because it's not so clanky like the old keyboard that's in it. It's got a real smooth feeling, and that Aftertouch is just absolutely fantastic. You can have so much fun with that Aftertouch. But anyway, Steve, I just want to take a minute here and make you a video going over it. For anybody that's watching, I appreciate all you guys that watch my videos and all the support. And there'll be more to come here very soon. I've got a lot of projects going on. I'm actually backlogged right now for quite a while, and mostly of it's Moog synthesizers. So really happy with that. So there's a lot of stuff coming out here, and a lot more modifications and that kind of stuff as well here. But anyways, guys, appreciate you watching, and there'll be more to come here very soon. Take care.